Good morning and welcome to Legally Speaking with attorney Antoinette Osbourne. This program is for information purposes only. If you need legal advice, you can contact me, Antoinette Osbourne, at 718-502-9137. That's 718-502-9137. The office focuses on divorce, immigration, bankruptcy, real estate, and estate matters. We also do eviction proceedings. There is a second office in Jamaica, West Indies, that focuses on legal representation. If you're looking to buy or sell property in Jamaica, or if you are looking to wrap up an estate. So, good morning, Suzette. Morning, Nicola. All right, so this morning I wanted to focus on the fiance. Hi, Amarilda. Good morning. All right. So he says, happy Bob Marley weekend. One love from Brooklyn. All right. So this morning I wanted to focus on the fiance visa. But before I do that, let us just look at the backlogs that are being cleared up by USCIS. So last year, and this is just 2023 alone, and this is why people are complaining their cases are taking so long. Last year alone, USCIS received 10.9 million filings. And by the way, USCIS is hiring. So if you know anyone who is looking at job, spread the word. They are hiring. And sometimes it's nice to go into the interviews and you'll see the different officers who are naturalized citizens. You hear the accents, and it's nice to see island people taking up some of these positions. So if you know of any of your friends who possibly will meet the qualifications, encourage them to apply. But honey, they are working. 10.9 million filings, and they cleared up, they reduced the overall backlog by 15%. This is a major move, right? For people who have been waiting on cases, you will be very much aware that now what is happening is the recent file cases are proceeding quicker than the cases that were filed from eons ago. People have been waiting long, child. But for those of you who are filing your cases now, trust me, it is moving, right? So I'm so happy about this. And of the applications, you know that we have a lot of border crossers, so they're able to interview 100,000 refugee applicants. Of course, it's only 60% of them that got approved, and they completed, I think it's 52,000 asylum cases. This is great. They're in fact moving, and this is absolutely fantastic, right? So we have to give them their props, because especially for the cases that are recently filed, they are moving. The backlog is going. And last year alone, they administered 878,500 oath of allegiance. So that means that we had that much people obtaining their citizenship. So like this is fantastic. They are processing, and come April 1st, with the raise in fees, what you are going to realize is, yeah, people probably can get raised now, hopefully. I'm telling you, I complain about this possibly every Sunday. Things in the supermarket have gone up by, I swear, 100%. You remember back in the day, $100 could I get to like a whole trolley, or I think they call it cart here, of food. That's not happening now. Yeah. So we have to be grateful. They are, in fact, moving. So this is fantastic. All right. So I think Michelle is saying good morning. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Madge. All right. Let's look at the fiance. This, for me, particular, is a visa where you really and truly have to have manners. Yeah. And I hope this is not blasphemous, but this visa is like putting the US citizen in the position like Jesus Christ. Yeah, them are the true, the way, and the like. They are the only way for anyone who has been brought here on a fiance visa. Yeah, yeah, have to have little manners. This is a visa where it's not a game in terms of you piss the person off and them not marry you, you're stuck. Yeah, this is not the visa where you joke with somebody, you know. And I remember one time I said to my client, because just having a simple discourse with her, and it is the immigrant husband. And this is how sometimes you can actually see people's intent. Yeah. You bring them to establish a life with you. And it's so hard and this doesn't just fall on the women, right? This falls on the men too. You'll bring someone here and you think it is going to work out for life, right? So you are optimistic. You're hoping to build a life. And we just sat down there, and when I first met her, and it's something they say I get from my grandmother. When I first met this guy, my spirit restless, absolutely did not like him, right? So they had a consultation. They were supposed to come back. They didn't come back, but she came back, and she's a citizen. And I will tell you this. This is a guy where the application is to benefit you. And in speaking to them, I realized throughout the time period, because she had applied, he got the green card, and now it's time to remove the conditions, right? Because you get that green card within the first 2 years of your marriage. You're only getting a conditional green card. And in just going over the documents, okay, please provide me with this, XYZ. She didn't have it. And I'm just taking my notes. And throughout the 2 years, it's like they haven't accumulated anything. How is this possible, fam? You're in a house with someone, right? You've got the green card and it's 2 years. So then she comes out by herself. And so I'm looking for her husband. I don't see him. And she said, Antoinette, I wanted to come back and speak to you to let you really know what's going on. She said, after I get the first green card, let me sit up, right? So after I get the first green card, a pure hype. Yeah, man. She said, let's open a bank account together. I open a bank account with her. But we have to pool our monies to pay the bills. And anyone who is filing for someone here, I don't want you to break them back, especially for people who live on family land, they're not paying no rent, they're not used to that sort of life. But that should not prevent you. And this is why sometimes you have to take responsibility as well. You're here, you're sending money. I'm not going to say you can't send, because it's rough back in the islands, or I'm not sure wherever you're from, but I'm from the islands, right? And things are like really expensive. So we're complaining here. So it is that they are complaining back home, right? And she says, let's get a life insurance. Oh, man, I want you to kill me. That's one of the dumbest things. I want people not really jumping at them sort of something there. Yeah? She said, all right, let's take a credit card together. It's a woman who has had established credit. Oh, me need to build my credit. So I don't want to take a card with you just in case you. And this was the pattern of the conversation throughout. There is no nexus because nobody's looking to build a life with you. Yeah? And I don't know if he picked up on my sense that I did not like him. So he went to speak to his own attorney, right? And having had a discussion with them that they needed to fix their life, fix their documents, right? So this is where now he comes back in a panic. And he is now rushing to establish documentation together. And this makes no sense to me. You are here trying to build with someone, yet you can tell from their actions there is no intent to build with you. And you just have to be careful where you're trying to move forward with someone and they are not working together as a family unit. Yeah. Anyone who has grown up in a nuclear family, yeah, mom and dad in the house and the kids, you realize, well, depending on the generation you're coming from, you realize how your parents worked together to sustain that family unit. I always saw my parents working together. This in-house fight against mentality, personally, I'm not used to it. So when you see people not looking to strive and work together, it amazes me. And I don't think people understand economically now. This is not the time for a single household. You need a household where you can combine your funds together, right? It's tough out there for single people now. Let's just take New York. A one bedroom can run you $1,800 to $2,500. Yeah, just barely you can find a one bedroom for like 1,500. This place is not meant for single people. You need that family unit, that combination of the income. Anyway, let us go ahead and hold on a second. So someone sent a text. They said, "Good morning, Antoinette. What can a parent do now if she added one of her children to her deed several years ago? She'd like to remove him, but he's refusing to sign. And I've warned you all about adding children to deeds. She'd like to remove him, but he's refusing to sign. Thanks in advance for your advance." All right. This is where you have to be so careful. And even your own children will fail you. And I know personally, I caution parents against this. Some of them are willing to take themselves off totally and put their children's name on the deed. That to me is like, what? Yeah, for some parents, I try to encourage them retain a life estate in the deed. You'd be surprised that one child, especially when they go ahead and they get that spouse. Yeah, because the spouse is realizing that, look, I'm like, he's 50% owner. So even if it's not joint tenant to the right of survivorship where everything automatically goes to that child, they get 50% right off the bat. So a lot of children are not going to be interested in taking themselves off the deed. Absolutely not. And you made an outright gift. You want him to come off, he's not willing to come off. What's going to happen is you're going to end up in court. Yeah. And you're going to end up in a partition action trying to prove convenience. And you better be able to prove convenience. Yeah. Otherwise, you've made a gift. And this is what you get stuck with. And this is where you hear me hit out against going ahead and adding your children to your deeds. Yeah. This is something weird. You have to be very careful with, right? And sometimes it's that same child because of a mortgage, or they're not going to come off. They don't have to wait on a will. You've made your outright gift during your lifetime. And you just have to be so careful. You're adding these kids to your deeds, you know? It's not something that I encourage. Yeah. So Suzette said the man with the fiance, he didn't want her. Well, I'll tell you this. I said to her, all right, so you're both here. And I said, what type of visa you brought him on? She goes, the fiance visa. So I was like, wow. I'm like, I said, why the fiance? And she said, I purposely chose the fiance visa just in the event that he started acting up and something like this would happen, because she knows she's the only way for him to get a green card, right? And this is why sometimes your spouses, and it could be because of someone else's experience, or it's a family member who went through hell. So people are more careful now, right? Especially where your marriage is not long and that other spouse is clamoring for a financial gain, right? So, all right. So someone says, are you in the city at Suzette Law? Seems high for a studio. 3,000 for a studio. Wow. Is that Manhattan? That's rough. Yes, Amarillo is saying single people have to work 3 times as hard. Yeah. And that's why when sometimes people come to me for their divorces, and to me it just seems like so meritless that you're looking to divorce. It's Sunday. So I'll use the acronym BS. Like stupid things. Stupid people are breaking up their families for nonsense. And yes, I understand that sometimes you have to get a divorce. You don't have no choice. You really have to divorce your spouse. But if you're divorcing your spouse thinking that it's greener on the other side, you are going to have a wake up call when you actually reach to that other side, right? All right. So let's go into this fiance visa, the cantankerous visa, the visa where you have to have manners. Yeah, when your hand in the land mouth, you really and truly take your time, dry it out, right? Someone says, good morning, Miss Osbourne. Can you tell me how long it takes to get back your passport after your interview at the Jamaican embassy? One, I would hope they would have registered for the courier service to pick up the passport. You have to register for that, and the embassy would have given the necessary instructions. It depends on what the embassy is doing. It depends if they are investigating or it's just like their standard procedure, which you can get back that passport within, I think, 2 weeks to possibly, I would say, 60 days. All right, so let's get into fiance visa now. I'm telling you, no joke with this thing. Okay, they have to be a fiance of a U.S. citizen. One time, one of my girlfriends called me and she's like, oh, her brother is gonna be filing for his fiance. And I know for me personally, I sometimes know the intricate details of my friend's life. And I'm like, a fiance visa, he's a green card holder. So she's like, so I'm like, so that means he can't do it. You have to be a US citizen to have a fiance, right? All right. They have to seek to enter the US solely to get married. So anyone coming on a fiance visa, when you read CBP and what's the purpose of your travel, you're coming specifically On that fiance visa, that K1 visa, you should be saying, I'm here to get married to my fiance. That's the sole reason you should be looking to enter the country, right? All right. Another requirement is you have to marry within 90 days. Yeah. So if you do not marry within that 90-day period, you can't look to adjust your status on a fiance visa. So deadlines, timing with this visa, it's extremely important, right? And I don't want you to think, because we like to just no problem, everything is easy. No, not with this. Timing, deadlines, very important, right? All right, so this visa, the only reason I like this visa, and I'll tell you this, it's because of the benefits that it provides to children. So in order for a US citizen to file for a stepchild, that marriage has to take place before that child's 18th birthday. With the fiance, if you're dating someone, they are out of the country, they want to benefit that child could be under 21, over 18, it doesn't matter. As long as they enter the United States before their 21st birthday, they could even adjust after their 21st birthday. And this is why this visa, it is different. It is such a benefit for people who have older kids. It is a great tool to use where you're marrying someone and here it is that you have a child that is over 18 after the marriage. So I just want you to know that if it is that you are looking to bring someone and the child is over 18, it's possible, right? All right, so let's move on. So those are the basic requirements for that. All right, let's look at your procedure. This requires a bona fide intent to marry, right? So it is that you must be looking to marry the person. You're not help somebody. You're looking to have a wedding within 90 days of that person coming, right? Now, another important aspect to this visa is that you must not have the legal impediment to marry. Some people are already married and yet they have a fiance. I know I had to tell my client, which Arab country he came, I can't even remember. But I had to tell him, no, you are currently married and I'm representing you in a divorce. Master, oh, me fi file a fiance visa for your girl. She's a girlfriend. Right now, you're not married to her. She's really a paramour, a side chick. No. I don't know. Probably him offended, so as soon as he get the divorce, he just run left me. Married men. I don't know who is giving you these guidance. Your girlfriend does not get fiance status until you divorce your wife. And for those of you who sincerely believe that your girlfriend can rise to the level of a fiance and you're still married, I'm here this morning to wipe that nonsense away. It's not possible. Yeah, I don't know who I bring on. It can't work, right? So at the end of the day, come on, let's go. So God's child said, I read God's child. So Matt is saying, I have to give thanks to my mom who brought all 7 children. Some did good, others took the wrong road. I raised my son by myself, worked, bought my house, and getting ready to retire. Not easy anymore. No, it's not. So Zalita says, greetings, Miss Osborne. Is this possible? Can a person with a waiver go to Jamaica, do the after the date that's missing and come back to the US before the interview, the person is a DACA recipient and have a job. But I'm not sure what you're talking about when you said do they, because after they, there's nothing there. So I don't know if you want to repost your question in its entirety because something is missing. All right. You have to meet the person within 2 years of filing the petition. So anyone who comes to my office and they want to like file a fiance visa, I'm like, when is the last time that you went and you looked for your fiance? If it's more than 2 years, then of course they're taking a trip, right? Now, there are some exceptions where you can't meet the person. The fact that you don't have no money, you're broke, and you don't have no employment, that's not a reason. Because they're looking for an extreme hardship. People not working is a regular hardship. That's not extreme. So as a result of that, nobody's giving you any sort of leeway because you don't have a job, right? Now, the fact that the country is at war, that's not an excuse either. So the reason is you can go to another country, go meet. You see how stringent, extreme hardship. Whenever you are doing a case and you get back, you have to prove extreme hardship. This is not your regular hardship, right? And this is why some people can't get waivers because they really and truly, they cannot prove extreme hardship, right? So I'll tell you, for example, what extreme hardship has been held. Okay, for example, where the US citizen has like a lung disease and the girlfriend had gone to the embassy and they had turned her B2 visa down. So they're gonna waive that requirement. Obviously, she not on a visa for travel, and him sick, him can't travel. So that's an extreme hardship, right? All right. Now, for all of you who like to have your convictions, another hardship is where if you're on probation, you can't travel. Yeah. I remember one time this gentleman came to my office and I'm looking at his probation record and I'm looking at the restriction. And I said, big man, you can't be in my office right now. Yeah, Antoinette, me know, but me just want to live you like, huh? What's up? The probation limitation is you can't leave a certain county. What you doing here? Yeah. No son of brave. All right. Now, here's a thing. If it is that you failed to meet within the 2 year requirement, and this is why your citizenship application, I tell you, if they don't catch it at the green card stage, you can bet they're gonna catch it when you apply for citizenship. So let's say you get through with a green card, right? And you got through because the officer didn't pick up that you hadn't met within the 2 years. Now, here it is, as an immigrant, you have the green card, you're looking to file for your citizenship. Any officer who is assigned your citizenship file is going to go through your entire immigration history. It is a search that is completely thorough, right? There's no room for error here. And what's going to happen is if it is determined that you had failed to meet within the 2 years of filing the petition as required for this type of visa, you're going to end up in deportation because you have no lawful entry. So you could not have adjusted. So the fact that them never catch it, nobody cares. That's deportation. So any type of visa you're looking to come upon, know the rules. Google, familiarize yourself with the rules. Consult an attorney. It is so important. All right. People with convictions. This is not a game as a US citizen. We don't know it's drama when you are like the beneficiary. But for citizens, this is where your history becomes so important for immigration. So let's look at the convictions that really and truly is going to mess up your ability to file for your fiancé. Convictions for domestic violence. And this is why it irks me where if you're truly not a victim of domestic violence and you call police on someone, the ramifications for them with their jobs, certain jobs, I think it's in the healthcare field, you really can't have no sort of violence on your record, right? When you go ahead and you lie on someone, and it also affects people who want to file for their fiancés. So they will look at convictions for domestic violence, sexual assault, right? Child abuse, dating, these where orders of protections have been issued, permanent orders of protection. This is not the type of convictions that is going to allow you to file. Now, here is the worst type of conviction you can have. Convictions where, with regards to the Adam Walsh Act, anybody, John Walsh, who does, I thought America's Most Wanted was such that when you hear that man's story and you go to Macy's or any store, and I think the stores have a policy, some stores have a policy where somebody starts saying that the child is missing, they shut down the store right away. And they should. Because for you to even interfere with a child, you have to be such a low level animal that you are going to seek to sexually violate a child. And that man's child went missing. And I think 2 weeks after, either they found that child's head or body on the highway. The mother just got up that day and it was a regular day. And you're doing your errands. But for you to leave your house, yeah, and for you just to go to the store. And ladies, when you're in the store, watch your children. You have these sick, because you have to be sick to really look to violate a child. You have to be such an animal. And that's where he went, and he petitioned Congress and he started his movement, and that inspired him to really start. So when you watch that show, this is a drive behind that man, because he's trying to save somebody else, because his son could not be saved. And I think this happened in, is it the 70s? So it's, yeah, anyway. So when you are engaging in elder abuse, stalking, alcohol is important, where you have 3 convictions for controlled substance abuse and alcohol abuse. And when your fiance goes to the embassy and your fiance is being interviewed, you bet they are going to bring it to her. Anyone who, and if you get hit, especially with interference with, you have a conviction, right? Where you've sexually violated a child, there are several offenses under the Adam Walsh Act that prevents your application, and you need a waiver. But I'll tell you this, the percentage of cases that are able to surpass, because it's such a nasty crime, interfering with a child. Me personally, I don't think I could ever speak to someone who has, I don't care what you're telling me, that these are false allegations. No. How? Ladies, watch your kids. Watch when you're dating and you're bringing these men in your homes. And men, if you're a single father, not all of these women make sense. And some of these women are also molesters. They stand on equal footing. A molester is a molester. I had a client from Nigeria and he was about to get married. And he said, Antoinette, this girl, I don't know. I really like her, but I just have this feeling. You're the wrong person for you to come tell them something, them answer. When I checked the girl, she had I think a sexual assault case against a 13-year-old boy. How are you gonna end up in that position? What explanation do you give for that? The child lie on you? Yeah, so let's read this text message. Yeah? All right. No. Oh, so Matt says, right, because I thought it got canceled and I saw a poster. Matt says he's back on TV now Mondays at 8 p.m. Yeah. So I think it's on Fox, if I am not mistaken, right? So someone texted, hello, Antoinette, we received an answer for my husband's appeal for his 601 waiver. The officer considered all my hardships, including the psychological evaluation, and the conclusion. The officer said she is remanding to the field office in New York to make a decision based on her opinion. By the way, her opinion was favorable to me and my husband. Is this a good sign? It's a very good sign. It's a very good sign. Unless you get another crisis officer, but generally that's an excellent sign. All right. So with the fiance visa, what does the vetting involve, right? You are applying for your fiance. Not only will your fiance be vetted, but you as the US citizen, you get vetted too. Let's get real. We don't want people coming here to be murdered or to be assaulted. So they are going through law enforcement. They are checking through your FBI records. They're checking with all immigration agencies. You know, how many fiancés have you filed for? What was the turnout of that application? I'll tell anybody this. I had a brethren from DR. Yeah, man, it make me sick, man. Him got on a DR and he's from the DR too. Time I do this to him own countrywomen. Him go down to the DR, handsome black man, yeah? And I don't know, I don't think Latin people really, some of them consider themselves black. But him look black to me. Every time him go down, by the time him come back, him have a fiance. Really? You get these women hopes. Yeah, man, I have to stop talking, man. You get these women hopes up that they're coming and they're gonna have a husband and have a relationship. Then you with your crisis self, after a while, you decide say no, it not gonna work and bloops. Yeah. After the fourth time, me just couldn't bother. But you will be vetted, yeah? And this is not just restricted to the fiance visa. This also involves the regular application as well. The social media. And I know when I speak to my clients, I usually ask them about their social. You can't have your social media and you post up different, man. You can't have your social media and you're doing a marriage-based case, or you're doing a fiance case and you're saying you're single. What? Where? Ladies, sometimes only if you check the status on a man, take out immigration out of this. Check your man status. Yeah? And see what's their relationship status. And I'm going to encourage you. Anyone who has as their status, it's complicated. You need to avoid that. That's a loser. Anybody who is coming to you and their relationship status is complicated, Ladies, sometimes you take on your own problems knowingly. People feel sorry for you when you don't know. Someone approaches you and their status is that it's complicated. I want to fall for that. That makes sense? No, sir, we can't do this. All right. You see, once your petition is approved, it's valid for 4 months. When you go to the embassy, they give you 6 months. As long as you leave within that 6 months visa, you're fine. The embassy also has the discretion to revalidate that 4 month period and increase in increments of 4 months. Yeah? But here's a problem. If the embassy, cause sometimes you make it past USCIS and they think you're fantastic. Yeah, everything is great. Buck up in a, when you reach the embassy now and you meet that officer and the officer not like you and look on the history of your man and once he's hearing the testimony, yeah, because I want you guys to understand you when you're going before the officers, you're testifying. So you look at the testimony and it is such that oh no makes sense. Yeah, the officer them do them job. But when you go to the embassy, I don't you think it's over because it was approved from USCIS. Oh no, God, the embassy no makes sense. Guess what got happen? Yeah, man, them gonna send it back for revocation. Boops. Preparation is the key. Yeah? All right. The hardest thing me ever hear, and then the door laugh. A boss me growing and my go to the embassy, I'm ready for go find, right? And when I reach the embassy now, everything I go on good. Till the officer say, sir, when's the last time you hear from your wife? Oh, that the girl there? A long time she not call me. Bloops. Bloops. Yeah, man, send it back for revocation. What? Okay. So, what happens when your US citizen petitioner dies? And like I tell anyone, you get up, you're healthy, be very grateful. Yeah? You have people who they couldn't even get up out of bed this morning. I don't know about anybody, but back in the day, I used to jump out. No, my whole in a life, now me I take my time. Yeah. See I'm so? Me I take my time, goody. So, death is a serious thing. And when your US citizen petitioner dies, right? That's the end of your application. If it is that you either are still in your home country and it's being processed, or you come to the United States and you never married. So I don't think anyone should be taking life for granted. And I think if you are around people who they're always just so pessimistic, avoid them. I'm going to encourage you. Careful of the people you surround yourself with, the negative energy that they put forth. It also comes into your life. And you just watch who you surround yourself with, right? So when the petitioner dies and you haven't left your home country, you haven't come into the United States, or you have come and you haven't married, that's the end of it. Yeah. So one of the things you should be focusing on is Once you get that visa, make sure you leave right away. Make sure you try and marry as soon as possible. Some people love drag out things as soon as you can. That's my encouragement to you. Yeah? Now, some people become aware of the process that you are prior to you even going to the embassy. And what will happen is they'll withdraw the application. They're not playing with you. They are going to send, I call it a love letter to USCIS, honey. Yeah, they are going to withdraw. So I just want you to just be careful, right? With the applications that you're doing. I don't know. I don't know in terms of, and I think that the citizen petitioner becomes very grateful where prior to you actually coming here, they are able to see you for who you are. And where it is that you are just, you show that you're going to be a problem. Yeah. Yeah. It is, it's going to be a problem for you. They're going to withdraw the application. And I'll tell you this, that's part of your immigration history, right? Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look at where the visa will not be issued. Yeah? Your visa will not be issued where, and we may have to do this fiance visa in two parts. Your marriage is not legal. You are married to somebody else and you're looking for a fiance you never divorced. And you went ahead and you're looking to bring in someone, right? Not gonna work, right? Now, where it is that you are inadmissible, you may have a criminal record, you may need a waiver. For if you were in the United States before and you've engaged in marriage fraud, you're not going to get that visa, right? The criminal history of the petitioner is so important. Yeah. And wow, time, we have 9 more minutes left. So I may have to do this as a 2-part, and we may have to continue next week, but I'll see what I can get done, right? All right. So hold on one second. All right. Criminal history. I don't know. This is where I encourage anyone to keep left of the law, right? You'd be surprised how easy it is to get involved with law enforcement. People are having a lot of landlord and tenant issues with your tenants. Sometimes your tenants are such that they're dangerous. Yeah. And being that dangerous of a person, they make false reports against you. All right. Don't set up yourself. When you start your eviction proceedings, stay very far away from your tenants. I find a lot of your tenants are dangerous and they're looking to set you up, especially if you are residing in the same premises with them. It does not make sense. Yeah. I don't know. There are specified offenses such as kidnapping. I don't think you should be involved with anyone who they and their partner, you have a kidnapping situation. I need you all to start back in the island, somebody knows something, somebody knows that person. So you're able to do a check. This is a very big place, right? And people come from different states, they're coming from different countries. This is a melting pot. And as such, there are certain things that will really and truly get you into problems. You need to research whoever it is that you are seeing. You can run simple checks through the Department of Corrections, Google their name, listen to when they talk. Because I find a lot of people, you do not listen to other people that you are dating. You don't listen. Don't just fly over certain things. Yeah. And I think with anyone, there should be a dating process. It's called a get to know you process, so you can get to decide whether or not this is a person you want to move forward with. You can't just pick up any and everybody, especially in this place. Because sometimes you are your brother's keeper. And as your spouse or even your partner, they're doing certain things, you're gonna get liable for it. And it doesn't make sense. You're riding in a car, your partner have an illegal gun, now you're both being charged with gun possession. Simple things like this. Be very careful, and be very careful whose cars you are going into, right? So no, it is you have a weapons charge. And especially when you don't have papers, I don't think you should be jumping in any and everybody's car or going into every and everybody's house. I'll tell you what happened to my client. She got the visa first time coming, and she went by a house in California. And when she went to the house, she realized, blow, she's in a trap house. And one day she got up, and when she got up, something said to her, hold on. Someone texted, and I'm trying to figure this out. Good morning. What hit you are, oh, is this supposed to be what if you are married and the petitioner died whilst doing the filing? So if you you came on a fiance visa, then you can still proceed. Yeah. For the green card, you don't even need to file the surviving spouse petition. You just go straight to your green card. Or if you didn't come on a fiance visa and you came regular visa or whatever was your lawful means of entry, you can file that surviving spouse application, but it must be done within 2 years of death. Back in the day, before 2009, you had to show you're also married for 2 years. And it was ridiculous that immigration had wanted this, because you have no control over life. And when you die, there is nothing stamped on the bottom. I mean, this Guyanese woman said to me once, until I'm talking to these people and they're like, they have their date of death. And she used to say to them, can you just take off your shoes? Should I take off your socks? Can I see your feet? Wow, I don't see any expiration stamp. There is no date stamped on your feet that says when you're going to die. We know the day, time, or hour when we're going to leave this earth. Yeah? So they changed the rules, and it was, you could even be married for a day. And I was so upset because I had this client from Israel, and he wanted to go home so badly. And I said, just hang on, because I knew they were trying to change the rules. Because he was only married for, I think, 2 weeks and his wife died. You ever see this big, extravagant wedding that they had? No, sir. I'm like, money. Anyway, he couldn't wait, he's tired and frustrated. And he went home, back to Israel. And I think a month after he left, they passed it, that it doesn't matter how long you're married. And I was so upset. And I said, he called me from Israel, and I was like, I just asked you to hang on. Why couldn't you have just hung on? I married for 10 years. That makes sense? It is what it is. But coming to that time, all right, there are certain crimes that are going to prevent you: kidnapping, false imprisonment, soliciting sex from a minor, sexual performance with a minor, soliciting a minor for prostitution. Yeah, these are the Adam Walsh bars that I had told you about earlier. And there are other bars. Just when it comes to kids and people violating kids, it's such a turn off for me, you know? And what gets me angry is for children who have been violated and they go and they tell their parents, and the parents don't believe them. And you have some people who they put their partners over their children. And I'll never forget when I was in college in Barbados, and one of my roommates, she said her mother told her, my people are from country, then I tell you this. What am I Kingstonian? She said her mother told her, daddy, uncle, whoever, nobody is supposed to touch your hair. And she point. And she know I send a word and the picnic not understand. She point and show her. Right there, son, nobody not supposed to touch your hair. Right? Nobody supposed to. Them days you know better turn both front and back way. Yeah. Tell you some sick people out there. Yeah, they're sick. She said nobody is supposed to tell you anything and say that or touch you and say if you tell your parents we're gonna kill your parents, them not kill we. These are conversations you need to have with your children from the get-go. And we don't like to speak about these things because it makes us uncomfortable. There is no set level of comfort when you're dealing with violation of a child. You have to protect your children. You have a legal obligation, not just moral. You have a legal obligation to protect your kids. And I find you don't have these conversations with them. You must do so. And I tell you all the time, the home is the first institution of learning for your child. Don't place this burden on the government. Don't place it on the school system. Your teachers are not that child's parent. It's your job. And you'd be surprised what's going on with the daycare because these kids don't know that they're being violated. It's nonsense. All right, so we're going to continue. Oh, they say, oh, I never finished with the trap house story. All right, I'm going to end with the trap house story. So some said to my client this morning, say, when you're going on the road, walk with your passport. And she said, anyway. So she go on the road, she go enjoy her day and thing. When she come home, a peer police surround the house. So she said she see some people cross the street from the house because she not gonna stand up near the house. Just in case somebody want idea. She said she stand up and she see some people across the house. And she said, what going on over there? Well, I said she don't live there. What going on over there? So, of course, there was this lady, and nothing like the Felicia in the neighborhood child. She's like, girl, they done raid this place. Woo! What? So she said, what? She said, oh, child, drugs everywhere. Cash everywhere. She said, she just called somebody in New York. Boom. Them send her ticket money. She just fly. Careful of who you stay with. All right, so we are ending now. It's 10 o'clock. I am not going into your Sunday morning, child. I will see you next week, Sunday. Have a blessed week, a wonderful Sunday. Live good with your neighbor. Yeah, I'll watch you win some. Be pleasant. All right, take care. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.